Okay, with me I have colleagues from the project.
Okay, my name is Beatriz Sedano, and I come from UNED, which is the Open University in Spain, which is based on Madrid. And I'm working with Alastair and John within the MOONLITE project from the beginning of the project. And John?
I'm John Shaxler. I'm a Professor of Digital Learning at the University of Wolverhampton in the centre of England. And I'm the UK representative.
And we have absent friends, various members of the project, which also includes Berlin, Charlotte,
ESCP.
ESCP. We have Katerina in Thessaloniki in Greece. And Anthony from Malta.
Yeah. And
Eric and EABTU. Okay, before we get started, rather than just sort of get you into just starting off with all the PowerPoints and everything, I think it would be nice for you to talk to each other for a little while. Because here's your title, MOOCs as a tool for challenges in society. Turn around and talk to your neighbour for 5 minutes. What does that make you think about? Reflect that title. Are they a tool for challenges in society? And the challenges are, I'll outline that at least, in terms of, are MOOCs a tool, or a good tool for using with refugees, migrants, people who are sort of outside the education and employment systems? Can they be used as a serious tool? If so, why? If not, why not? Can you just reflect with your neighbour a little bit of your own experience? Is this a realistic scenario? Is it really working? Limitations? That's an awful lot, but the main thing is talk to your neighbour. Okay?
I work in the Michigan, so we host the National Academic
Sorry, this all makes sense.
So we are responsible
Okay. Is that what internationalisation means?
No, internationalization is much more. This is one way one of nothing services to internationalization.
Across every sector.
Our academic services are mainly for the higher education. We also have scholarships for
In the UK, I hear internationalisation
Oh, really? Well, we're not making an awful lot of money yet. Yeah, but that's really UK. That's really UK. As I said, we have a lot of private
I would say from overseas.
Yeah.
And that may be the but the British are very bad.
But that's a very British model because there was one in the University of Oxford gender so they Dutch Dutch laws.
Misjudged overseas and in fact, it's internal in the sense that And it's the same issue. It's kind of it's structural the same issue. It doesn't work.
No, I know that there are also in the Netherlands there are commercial interest for instance in trying to implement.
Okay. The interesting thing with doing an exercise like that with an audience like this is all of you know probably as much as we do, and you could come up here and do the you've got there's so much experience that we could just spend the rest of the day talking. However, we have promised a little bit of a show, so we'll continue with that. Any spontaneous thoughts? Does this sound a reasonable proposition?
We thought it is, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
You underestimate the organization, the guidance that comes with it.
Yeah.
So it's not always feasible to come up with one or more.
The word tool is well chosen because that's what it is. It's a tool. It's not an end.
No.
So you need to plan a lot of things, a theme around it, groups, community, and just as it is, it's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually hope that MOOCs, as seen as separate tools, will disappear. We would just have well-designed, flexible higher education. And,
With you all the way, I've been uncomfortable with the term MOOC most of the time.
Yeah, it was very interesting when it started, and then I see so many badly designed MOOCs. I was really disappointed. So anyway, that's another discussion. More important, as a driver, I think, but this has to do with politics. Of course, migrants and refugees will be definitely helped with more flexible offerings. But I think the big driver would be the need for continuous education in any way, for anyone
For everyone,
in Europe.
Yeah.
So, and then automatically, maybe not automatically, but then I would say we should care for the refugees and migrants to be taken on board of that process.
Oh, sorry, my problem was it kind of, I've probably got endless problems about what exactly do we mean by MOOC, and has it just become a sort of vague phrase for any interactive, media-rich platform? That's definitely issue maybe. But it's the kind of opportunity cost. Is it the best tool, the only tool, the worst tool?
Yeah.
Is it the tool that we use at the expense of some other tool?
Yeah.
And I'm not clear about that.
Yeah. Or are we desperately trying to find something good to do with MOOCs, since we invented such an interesting term and we're now trying to find what to do with them? That could also be aid. But I mean, it's if we see MOOCs as you said, as open educational opportunities of different varieties, is open online learning a tool to meet these challenges? Let's see. I will proceed. Interestingly, it doesn't show. There it is. No, it should. Every European project you know is an acronym. And of course, one of the biggest tasks of any project is trying to think of a cool acronym and then trying to think what on earth does it mean. Our one means this: massive open online courses enhancing linguistic and transversal skills for social inclusion and employability.
Are you serious?
And that trips off the tongue so nicely, and I must admit I have not learnt it by heart, so the only way I would ever remember it is seeing it like that. However, it is known as MOONLITE. The objectives, briefly, we started off looking at the sort of MOOC opportunities and barriers and producing a report on that, which is available on our website. We looked at what's happening just now. I mean, Chiron, of course, is a major inspiration but there are many others that we looked at. How are they working? What are the mechanisms? Who is benefiting from them? What are the barriers? So we've been looking at that. We set up a number of institutional scenarios. So at our various universities, we tried to use MOOCs in different ways, not only with refugees, that was very much at UNED and I think with John at Wolverhampton. We were looking at using MOOCs in normal curriculum with our students, sort of embedding them into the curriculum. So we did a few institutional scenarios and tried to gain lessons from that. And through that, looking at sort of how to build up new educational pathways for refugees and migrants. An interesting part of the project has been the cost-benefit analysis for institutions. And we have a model, we have a tool for a cost-benefit analysis for institutions to see how sorry, I've now gone out of camera view, I will move back. Cost-benefit analysis are normally looking at the bottom line in terms of economic results. But in this, we're also looking at the social and environmental costs and benefits of running open online courses. And this is a tool where a university and institution can analyze their finances, their social impact, their environmental impact, put it all together and see how have the MOOCs, the open courses that we have developed, how do they benefit the so-called triple bottom line? And that tool will be released on our website as well. We've tried it out at our institutions. We've tried to see how it works and trying to get it better. But we think that that tool will benefit as a way of persuading possibly top management that the investment in MOOCs is worthwhile. It may not always make a massive profit, but if you look at the other parameters, you can see how your impact on society or your cost savings in terms of the environment can help. We did a MOOC on MOOCs. So we took our examples and we ran a MOOC, a meta MOOC as we called it, a MOOC which was trying to show other organizations how they could work with MOOCs in different scenarios to help refugees and migrants. And that MOOC has been run. How many participants did we have? How many do you remember? People who did the MOOC?
Around 300.
300, yeah, okay. It's available still, we'll give you the link at the end. So it's out there and you're welcome to use it. The only thing that's missing is the interaction, because the MOOC is now like a textbook. It's out there, you can go through it, you can take the quizzes, but because it's now, the interaction isn't there because we're not actually running it at the moment, but it's all out there. And finally, we're going to be producing a report with recommendations, visions, policy.
Okay.
You want to take over?
Yes, why not? So one of the final results of the project is what we call the Hague Declaration, which is a document that is not published yet. It will be published in our website very soon after this event, probably. That's why we want to present here the main parts, and we also want to collect feedback from you. We want to know what you think about it. Although the project, MOONLITE project, is focused on refugee and migrant support learning, this declaration has a broader focus for the potential of MOOCs on social inclusion and societal change. We know there is a way to go, still a way to go, but with all the research and work that we have undertaken in the project, and all the ideas from the discussions and collaborations with different experts and academics on open education, it has been possible to identify 7 key challenges that should be addressed if we want to reach the full potential of open education and MOOCs for social inclusion, and that for these tools to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030. The responsibility of address these challenges is not only from higher education institutions and MOOC providers, but also we have to involve the support organizations such as NGOs, foundations, charities, and also national and international government bodies. Okay, so these are the 7 key challenges that we have identified, and we are going to talk about each one. For example, the first one.
Wait. We're going to give you we're going to go through these key challenges, which you can see up there, and we would like you at the same time to do this. We'd like to gather your reactions and comments. We'll get them later verbally, but as we're going through these different challenges, we'd like you to go to, if you go on preferably on your phones or on your laptops, go to www.menti.com, use the code 339749, and just whenever you have a reflection, a question, an idea about what we're talking about, throw it in there, and then later we'll have a look at the wall of comments we've got, and then we'll discuss around them. So it's a way for everybody to contribute to the discussion without having to put your hand up and speak. And all the comments are anonymous, so it won't matter. No one will know who has made them. So you're welcome to even write down, I don't understand challenge number 3, or what do you mean, or I disagree. Write down, it'll come up as a wall of comments. So I hope everyone is finding that page and the code, and
Did
then
you find
you
it?
can...
You don't have internet? Do we have Wi-Fi?
No, we have EduROM.
Are you borrowing
Or it'll work on your phone as well. Just a second, I'm going to show where it comes. It'll turn up here. And there, somebody's already writing, you see? They've already got an idea. I'm going to, hold on, I will now go back to the slideshow, and we can start. Yeah, so off you go.
Okay, so the first challenge that should be addressed is improving access to MOOCs and open education. Most of the MOOC providers and course aggregators, they put a lot of info on the courses, but it's still difficult for those who can benefit to know which ones are more adequate or appropriate for them. That's why information about the courses should reflect the types of people who can benefit from them. For example, for those who are unemployed, or for those who are refugees or migrants because of their certification, for example. And publicity should target the community, but also the intermediate support groups that we were talking about, because these NGOs or charities, they know the existing MOOCs, and they know what are there for. They can use them to support the collectives, and also they can facilitate the adoption of these courses to the collectives. The second one maybe could seem obvious, but it's keeping MOOCs open and free, as we were doing with our Meta MOOC. Most of the courses also, they don't run all the time. Maybe they are available for a few months or even less, but then they stop. So we think it's important to keep MOOCs open, even when they are not running, but obviously it has to be clear that these MOOCs are really only mode, because you can't have facilitators all the time, but they must remain open. And of course, they should be totally free, that, as you know, the access is normally free, but then some parts, normally the certification is not free. So we have to get that for these collectives, the certification is also free.
I'm sorry.
come back to the code because
Yes. Alastair, can you come, please? The code is 339749.
Yep.
Can you come here because I can't move them.
No. So this there.
Okay. The third challenge is the need for support in inclusive MOOCs. I think you were talking at the beginning about this. It's a key element in order to get success of the learning process in these inclusive MOOCs. The human dimension is crucial. Because, for example, students can provide from many very different multilingual, multicultural backgrounds, very different social, economical or political contexts. Maybe they have very different conceptions of learning. Normally, when we ask, they prefer face-to-face learning because they don't feel isolated, etc. So, human scaffolding and support is crucial to engage the students in the learning process, but also to engage them with the other participants, with the teaching team, and to get that they don't abandon the course. So facilitators are very important in these courses, and they can come from the online, within the online community, but also from the support organizations, groups we were talking about. For example, they can be volunteers, or even, for example, in the case of migrants and refugees, to put an example, they can be former refugees that they already have experience with the language and with the new society, and they can help, they can act as mentors of the other participants. And they should provide emotional support, also synchronous meetings, regular synchronous meetings can be organized, and they should scaffold students in order to learn and participate. And fourth is building MOOCs for social inclusion. Maybe we can say that open education and MOOCs as one of the tools of open education, they have the potential to provide learning to very different multicultural, multilingual participants, but we have to design the courses for that. They have to be inclusive from the beginning. That's why the inclusiveness has to be in the 3Ds process, that is design, development, and deployment. For example, if we think of the design, from the beginning, it's very important that we involve the target audience in the creation of the course. It's what we can call co-creation. And we have been doing, for example, this in UNED. We have to involve them to decide the topics of the courses. They can be the actors of our videos. They can help with the translations. And if we involve them in the whole process, they will be these courses could be more really targeted to the collectives. Also, it's very important that we take into account different inclusive criteria. We have created a rubric with technological aspects. For example, they have to be deployed in mobile devices, also pedagogical. We talked already about scaffolding, but also we have to take into account the different learning styles. For example, the oral traditional styles, they have to be very audiovisual. Also in the linguistic, there are linguistic criteria. They need most of the times extra support. We have to provide glossaries, subtitles, etc. And cultural and ethical, we have to take into account the diversity of identities in our materials, in our courses. to finalize, they have to follow an institutional criteria that has to be with the official recognition that John will be talking about. And in the development, we also, what we also did in our scenarios is to test the courses before you launch it. We were testing with the different groups of the target audience. In our case, were refugee and migrants, and we were testing face-to-face to collect feedback, but also online. Finally, to put an example of the deployment inclusiveness, before also we launch the courses, we have to train the facilitators to provide scaffolding of the courses so they know what to do, how to use inclusive language, etc. Some examples. And now I'm going to give the time to
Okay,
John.
a second. If we